In this section, we're going to be looking at formulas. Formulas are equations that show a relationship between different quantities, and they're all represented by variables. So we could have something like the distance formula, d is equal to rt. So it's an equation that contains all variables. Now, some formulas will contain both numbers and variables, but in our first example here, all variables. So what does each variable represent? D is the distance, r is the rate or the speed, and t is the time spent traveling. Many times you're given a problem where you are asked to find the distance. So I would give you the rate and the time, and you just multiply the two together. But looking at this first problem, they're telling us that we know how far we're traveling. We know the distance. So if we know the distance, we are now going to be looking for our average speed. We know how far we're going, and we know how long we're traveling for. So let's take a look at how we are going to rewrite this into our equation. If distance equals rate times time, and we already know our distance and our time, let's replace it into the equation. I have 162. Now I'm looking for r. And I know the time, which is 3 hours. How do I solve for the rate? We'll divide both sides by 3. When I divide, that will be going 5 times, which is 15, 1 left over. I'll have a rate of 55 miles per hour. Now it's very important that we write our units, and these are our units, so I would just put 54 miles per hour would be a shortcut way of writing that. Important to put the units because that's what we refer to as unit analysis. Here's another formula which sounds a little strange, but you can estimate the temperature outside using the chirps of a cricket. Imagine that. N is the number of times a cricket chirps in 1 minute. F is the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. And we can go ahead and estimate if we know that the cricket chirps 100 times. What will we do? We'll take this formula, and again, this is the formula. This is the relationship that tells me how I can calculate. So this is what's given. We're given a formula, we're given some information, and we're asked to find something else. So I'm looking for degrees Fahrenheit. I know that the amount of chirps in 1 minute, which is N, is 100. What will I do to get that? Here's the rule. Divide by 4 and add 37. Now you take your 25 plus your 37, and you'll see that your answer will be 62 degrees. And that's in degrees Fahrenheit, so you might write it as 62 with a little degrees symbol, Fahrenheit. These are my units. So I'll keep talking about units. We want to be sure that we always include them. Perimeter of a figure is the distance around the figure. So we have perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Imagine that I know that the perimeter, maybe I know that P is equal to 36, and maybe that I know that the length is equal to 12. I need to find the width. So again, I have my 36. I'm going to have 2 times L, which is 12, and 2 times W. Don't know what that value is. What will I do? I'll solve this equation. I'm going to subtract 24 on both sides. That leaves me with 12 is equal to 2 times W, the width, and I'll divide. And I'll get W is equal to 6. But what I didn't tell you that this was feet. This was feet, so that means I'm measuring in feet, so the width is 6 feet. These are just a couple of quick examples, but as I keep mentioning the words unit analysis, I'm going to go into that a little bit more next time. Unit analysis just says we need to include what are we measuring? Are we measuring time, money, feet, inches? Include your unit analysis.